Dogs, often referred to as man's best friend, known for their unwavering loyalty, companionship, and diverse roles in human society. These highly adaptable and sociable animals have been cherished for thousands of years. Then there are breeds that are bred for hunting. Their intelligence, speed, and agility makes them efficient hunting partners. But what happens after they have served their purpose? When they are old and tired? Sadly, for some, a life of abandonment and mistreatment follows. Hi, I'm Paige. I host Chezuba Talks. This podcast is dedicated to sharing stories of grit, determination, and hope. And displaying these qualities is today's guest, Jacqueline Howard. She is an advocate for dog rescue, notably greyhounds and meat trade survivor dogs. She has featured on the Times Square billboard. We have a celebrity. She has featured with her greyhound, Baron, and she is also a writer and by day works for a Fortune 50 company. I believe there is a co founder as well, but I'll let Jacqueline do the talk and I'll welcome her to the podcast. Welcome, Jacqueline.
Thank you so much. Glad to be here. I really appreciate this.
Yes, Jacqueline, we are eager to hear what the Flying Dog Foundation is doing. What is the primary goal and how did it start?
Okay, great. So, our mission is to raise awareness and funds for dogs in dire need. And what we do with that money is we take it and we award it through grants to our rescue partner organizations. We have a specific focus on sight hounds, notably, as you had mentioned, um, greyhounds in the meat trade, and sometimes other dogs in the meat trade. And hunting dogs in Spain that are called Galgos, which are also known as Spanish greyhounds. Um, the way we started was my partner, her name is Ellen Ganopoulos, and I. We'd been on the board of a greyhound rescue in the States, and the greyhound industry quickly began fading. And there wasn't so much a need for so many organizations to be rescuing the dogs from the tracks and finding them homes anymore. And we both said, hey, we've got all this energy and we know how to raise money. What can we do now? And I have an affinity for the meat trade survivor dogs. One of my own dogs is a greyhound from the meat trade. And she has an affinity for hunting dogs from Spain. So we said, well, let's put our talents together and see if we can raise some money for both those causes and save some dogs. So that's what we started doing. As far as the meat trade dogs, in China alone, there's 10 million dogs a year that are slaughtered for their meat. People look at greyhounds and say, well, there can't be a lot of meat on those. And there isn't. They're actually, sad to say, considered a delicacy. So, yeah, it's just an awful thing. But we basically work with partners that save them, literally from the markets, from right off of trucks, and they rehabilitate them and then transport them to North America and Europe, where they go to rescue groups that then find them homes. And then, as far as the hunting dogs in Spain, what is going on there is it's tradition. Um, for the hunters to hunt with their galgos. Again, they look like greyhounds, but they're not quite greyhounds.
Mhm. Mhm.
At the end of hunting season, there are some traditions where the hunting dogs that didn't perform so well are killed, sometimes in the most heinous ways. Some of them are just set loose to fend for themselves. That doesn't work out so well. So there are different rescue. One of my dogs is nudging me right now. I don't know if
Oh,
yes.
that's so cute. What's his name?
This is a girl. This is Spree. She's from Ireland. Actually,
Hi,
that's another.
Spree.
Yeah. So greyhounds in Ireland and Australia are other dogs that we help as well. But that's another story. But anyway, so there are different rescues in Spain that actually they go out and find these dogs, and take them in, rehabilitate them, get them into homes. There aren't enough homes in Spain for them, so we will help them with the expenses that go along with rehabilitating these dogs. And then my partner Ellen is actually a transporter, so she literally, I'd say once, sometimes twice a month, she's back and forth from the States to Spain to pick up dogs and fly them back here and bring them to rescue, so then find them homes. So, anyway, and like I said, I mentioned Spree is from Ireland. There's racing is pretty prominent in Ireland and Australia. So, we help those dogs find homes in North America because there aren't enough homes for them in their home countries. So actually, we just gave a grant to one of our partners to transport 4 racing greyhounds from Australia to Michigan, so they could find homes.
Great to know about your passion and dedication that you are, putting into this rescue. Now, two questions come to my mind. One is, if you say that this is a tradition in Spain, for example, how difficult is it for you to convince people to let go of these dogs and, transport them back to the US? And the second question is, when you have dogs that are those kind of dogs, which are rescued dogs, I'm sure they are traumatized. So how do you deal with these dogs also?
So those are great questions. So for the first question, how do we convince, in the case of the hunters, to give up their dogs? Uh, it, it really doesn't take much convincing. They don't want the dogs, like these are the dogs that have not performed well for them on their sport hunting, so they will give them up. What's happening more and more, because we don't do this education in Spain, our partners on the ground in Spain do, the rescues do. Um, have an awareness campaign ongoing, to educate the hunters and, of course, the people of Spain about the atrocities and alternatives of what can happen for those dogs in a humane way. So more and more, the hunters are actually surrendering the dogs to the rescues, which really hadn't happened in the past. So education is key. And again, we're not so much involved with that in Spain. Our partners who are Spanish and live there are much more better equipped to do that than we are. But where we come in is not just helping those shelters to take care of the dogs and prepare them for adoption, but we promote them out to our supporters here, and get the story of the Galgos out. Same with the meat trade dogs, getting the story out. Like, so many people aren't aware of just how large that industry is, and or that it even exists. So again, we get the word out. As far as the dogs being traumatized, of course, many of them are, um, and the rescues do a fantastic job with rehabilitating them and preparing them for life and a home. But I will tell you, one of my greyhounds, his name is Felix. We adopted him 4 years ago. Um, the rescue group that my partner and I had been on the board of had been bringing in our first transport of meat trade survivors from China. And I said, I raised my hand and said, I would like one of those dogs. And the only thing I need is one that's cat tolerant, because I also have cats. So I needed one that would be safe for my cats. And the first day, that they were actually the second day they were in the country, they were cat tested. None of them were good with cats except for the last one. And the president of the organization said, "Well, I guess this is your dog." I said, "Great." And I fully expected, my husband and I fully expected that we would be getting a project dog. I thought
Uh-huh.
this dog is going to have psychological issues, coming from this.
Hmm.
We don't know what his life was before, at
True.
all. There's nothing we know. I actually have a video of his rescuer. coming out of the market with my dog and two other greyhounds that she had bought from the butchers. Because the butcher,
Oh,
they don't care what you're going to, obviously they don't care what you're going to do with the dogs, so you
right.
buy them. It's about $100 a dog. She bought them and walked them out.
Okay.
That woman's name, by the way, is Carrie Lawrence, and she is with a rescue in the UK called Candy's Hound Rescue International, and they are quite prominent in the meat trade rescue world. Anyway, I I bring my dog home, and we walked in the house, and he just kind of looked around, saw I had two other greyhounds at the time, saw them, saw the cats, said hello, found a couch, took a nap, and that was it. It's like he lived yours for life. So in his case, and I've heard this from many other people with the meat trade survivor dogs, um, most certainly not all, adjust very quickly to life,
Mm-hmm.
here in the States
Mm.
and in a home. Um, the Spanish dogs, same thing. Some adjust very quickly. Some no. Some need some extra attention, and
Right.
oftentimes,
Mm.
if a dog is very fearful or has maybe some psychological issues, again, the rescues, the shelters themselves will work with those dogs, and
Mm-hmm.
then there are people with big hearts who um, know how to handle those dogs and rehabilitate them at home. So they'll go to adopters who know exactly how to treat those dogs to get them to where they need to be psychologically and physically.
Yeah. Yeah, it sounds a lot like a lot of work actually, but if you are doing it with passion, so do you have passionate people on your team that who, people who believe in this cause as much as you do? Of course, you and Ellen are there, but do
Yeah.
you also have partner organizations that are equally dedicated? And if you find them, sorry, but do you select them? Is there a procedure where you say that, okay, we are going to collaborate with these people?
Yeah, that's a great question. So really, as far as within the Flying Dog Foundation doing the work, 99% of that is Ellen and I. But we have, of course, people who lend a hand that we're most grateful for. Um, as far as our partners, every one of our partners is profoundly passionate about rescue, whether it's the meat trade dogs, the Spanish dogs, racing dogs. um, we do have a process. We vet them very, very carefully, because we have a fiduciary responsibility to our charity and to, of course, our donors, to make sure the money that we're raising and sending out is being used exactly in the way that we want and that our supporters want. So we build relationships with different rescue groups in the United States. We're able to actually look up their tax forms and see, how down to the penny how they're using it. Um,
Correct.
we also look at things like who's on their board and check out the folks on their
Right.
board.
I
We
get
look at
that. I think you are already a candid, platinum candid transparency.
Yes, yeah. So we
Yes.
use Candid, Candid or Guide Star. Some people still refer to it all the time. That's exactly where we're able to find things out. And, yeah, if we see someone else has a platinum rating, we applaud that. I was dying to know when we were awarded that, what how many charities actually get that. And it's only
Uh-huh.
15%.
So
So we're quite,
yes, you are in. You
yeah,
are
we're quite
in
honored
the
for that.
top.
Yeah, so we rely heavily on GuideStar and what they're saying. It's important to have like that third party, unbiased research and opinion on an organization. So that's one of the ones we use. We also use Charity Navigator
Mm-hmm.
and ProPublica.
Okay. Right. Right. Fantastic. Let's take a break to understand what Chezuba is. Everyone at some point ponders on how this beautiful life can be made more meaningful. Maybe you're a leader trying to enhance your employees' experience at your organization. Or you already work for the community and seek volunteers with state of the art skills to strengthen your nonprofit. Whatever your situation, Know that you can make a difference. Chezuba began with this very vision, a vision to facilitate every skill and every passion in the world in meeting a social need. Corporate volunteering has several benefits for both businesses and organizations. In parallel, experienced and enthusiastic volunteers join NGO workers, enabling them to serve the community more effectively. Chezuba offers everyone looking to add purpose and meaning to their lives a chance to connect or volunteer virtually with nonprofit organizations from over 100 countries around the world. Visit www.chezuba.net and explore opportunities to find meaning. Chezuba, your platform to do good. And now, back with our guest. You just mentioned this story about how you got your cat loving dog or cat neutral dog. Is there any other story that you remember and a memorable incident which made you feel that what you're doing is the right thing, and you know like they say, pets come to you,
Yeah.
they find you, and is there any particular story or incident that stays on in your mind?
Yes, I can tell you a story that I hope you love. It is about a dog, a greyhound actually, who was in India.
Uh-huh.
She was a senior dog, and a woman named I think it was Punja. She found this dog, a female, senior, maybe 8 or 9 years old. It was obvious that she had been through quite a few puppy litters, and she was hungry and tired, and so the lady sees this dog just on the streets, takes her in because she loves dogs, and but couldn't keep the dog, so she went on social media, put pictures that I found this senior dog. I need to find her a home. Who can help? A woman that we're friendly with in Canada, named Robin Waldman, sees this post. She contacts Ellen and I and says, "Hey, I know you don't really work with India, the dogs in India, but can you help?" So, all we had to do is look at this dog's face, and we were like, "Of course we can help,"
Oh,
So
yeah.
we didn't know what to do. Like, how do we get this dog a home in India? We had no contacts. We really didn't know what to do, but so we start posting about this dog, and like, we need to get this dog help. We raise money for her vet bills 'cause she definitely needed veterinary attention. Um, we found a rescue that would in the states that would take her. They were called Elite Greyhound Adoptions in Florida. um, they said, if you can get her to the States, we'll take care of her. So then we're like, okay, how do we find a transporter? We find this woman in Paris who says, I can get you a transporter. So she starts like, that's what she does. Like, she searches for people that transport dogs as part of
Wow,
a
that's
rescue event. So I don't know how she did it, but this woman in Paris found an American woman who was working in India and was coming home. Like, every 6 months or so, she would come home, and she said, "I'll take your dog. I'll transport the dog." So, so we've got
it's
all
like the
these.
universe, yeah, it's
Yeah,
like the universe conspires to get
we
that
have
done.
yeah, the rescuer in India, the transport woman in Paris, the woman who brought her
Paris.
to our attention in Canada. So, we're in, Ellen and I are in New Jersey, which is, the northeast of the United States. The rescue was in Florida, southeastern seaboard. It's pretty far. But anyway, the American that was transporting the dog was going into an airport in Washington, D.C., which is about a 3 or 4 hour drive for us. So we drove to
Hmm.
the D.C. airport.
Wow.
We met the woman, gave her lots of hugs, got the dog, and then we drove her we didn't want to put her on a plane again. So we drove her to the rescue in Florida. We named the dog Stena after a very famous race car driver. Because greyhounds are fast, so I thought,
Yeah.
let's give her a Formula One name. Um, and she was adopted within days. And Senna had her own Facebook page, and people were following her story. And we needed for that transport. It was, if I remember, it was about 3,500 or $4,000 just for the
Yeah. But
transport.
what a journey and what an
Yeah,
adventure
but she
Stena
made it.
had.
She made it, and she was adopted by a wonderful woman, and, sadly, Stennis since passed. Again, she was a senior dog, but she had a wonderful parents here in the States that took care of her.
That's amazing. What a
Yeah.
story that is. Do you so how many miles has she traveled? Have you calculated
Oh
how
my
many
gosh,
miles she's traveled?
I don't even know, because I think she went from India to Germany, and then
Uh-huh.
Germany to Washington, DC, and then we drove her from DC to Florida, which I don't know how many miles that is. That might be.
Wow,
I can tell you how
that's
long it took.
super.
Like, it took, like,
Yeah,
we were
that's
driving 24 hours straight, but, thousands of miles. Yeah, and
wow,
it was
what a
amazing.
story.
It was amazing for this one dog, and all of these women from completely different parts of the world, coming together. I'm sorry about my dog. She's
No,
talking.
that's
I
fine.
don't think
She wants to talk.
she does. She's very chatty. But, yeah, it was just wonderful to see that partnership across the world with all of the horrible things that are going on in the world,
There is
that
something positive.
something positive. It was just a beautiful thing to see these complete strangers from completely different countries and backgrounds
Yeah.
coming together to do this one good thing. Yeah,
Absolutely. What a lovely story. And
yeah.
these kind of stories should be told in schools, in educational institutes. I'm sure it will make an impact. And I note one more thing, Jacqueline. It's all women, right? All women came to help, and I don't see any.
Sorry.
So, yeah, I noticed that you talked about all women came together,
It was
from
all
different parts
women.
of the
Yeah,
world. Yeah, all women to
yeah.
go woman power.
Yeah, go, not to say men didn't help. Men definitely
I'm sure.
donated to the cause, I don't wanna leave them out, but it was just all women. And I find, like, it, and you've probably noticed this too, in animal rescue, there are for sure absolutely wonderful men involved, but for the most part, it's women who are in animal rescue. I guess it's the
Yeah, more
nurture
sensitive,
side
I
of us.
guess. Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
natural. Yes, yes, true.
yeah,
That brings me, Jacqueline, to the books that you have written. You have
mm,
written two books. You've authored two books,
yes.
and they are humorous fiction books. One is
Ye
called Son
Yeah,
of a Dog, and the other is Cruise to Nowhere.
yes.
So, does Tenna figure in any one of these books?
I'm sorry, does what? The I
The
didn't.
dog that you rescued?
No, no, these are written before my, current dogs, although my, dogs I have since passed, greyhounds have since passed, are in them. The first one, Son of a Dog, is, very loosely based on, my first greyhound, whose name was Max, and he was a
Mm-hmm.
little bit of a troublemaker. So, that book is, I use kernels of truth about life with him, to write this book, which, hopefully people think it's funny. I wrote it to be funny, and the other one, Cruise to Nowhere, is, complete fiction. I did put my 2 dogs in it, but they're peripheral characters. It's not really about them.
Yeah, lovely. And these books are available on your website.
They're available, anywhere books are sold, Amazon, in particular, yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, Jacqueline, it was lovely talking to you. I love to see the passion and effort that is involved in rescuing dogs. It's not easy. I can surely say that. And in your day to day life, you're living with your set of challenges. And to also take on an additional set of challenges is not a mean task. So it is absolutely a mean task. So please accept my compliments and huge regards to you and Ellen for doing what you are doing.
Thank you so much, and, I had said this to you offline, and I'll say it again. Thank you for all that you do for charities all over the world. It's so important, it makes a difference.
Thank you. That's so important to us. I love doing what I'm doing. It is my honor and privilege. All of you are so inspiring.
Thank you.
Well, the importance of a dog extends far beyond being man's best friend. The power of love and second chances takes center stage. And the flying dog, that journey, it can be heartbreaking sometimes, but is always inspiring and noteworthy.